Good morning. This is Friday morning. I think the 31st of July 2021. The reason I'm up on this roof right now and the reason for this video is this is for the buyers who closed the house yesterday. I'm standing on the patio roof of the house. I want to give you a little rundown. You requested pictures of the cabinet, so I'm going to give you a video that I'm going to try to be as specific as I can to all the things I did to this house. But I do this in goodwill as disclosure. It's a turnover, like if I was doing a job and you were to relieve me, you're relieving me with some of the jobs in this house. I'm turning over to you what I've done so far so that you will know. First of all, let's start with this monster of an antenna here. Alright, it's hard for me to see out here. Alright, that antenna, I have a letter from the HOA, a letter of permission. It's been there probably going on 9 to 10 years. The reason I have it is South Mountain, which is over there. I got the camera pointed, it's about 29-30 miles away, has all the antennas for the whole Phoenix Valley of the Sun. All the antennas are on South Mountain, and that's pointed right at South Mountain. So I don't have cable. I haven't had cable hooked up to this house for probably 8 to 9 years. I've just been going with antenna, and it works great, and I have an HOA permission letter to have it there. You can take it down if it's an eyesore, if you don't like it, if you're never going to use antenna, and you're always going to go to cable, you can take it down. You're not going to hurt my feelings. It's yours anyway. That's what you bought. Alright, now I want to take you over and show you this. This roof right here, I'm sure you know, but it should have a coat. I've put about 1 or 2 coats on this roof of this white roof treatment. And I did that roof right there, and I talked my neighbor into doing that small roof there when he first moved in. The second neighbor, there's 3, it's been 3 people bought there so far. But the first neighbor bought it and turned it over without ever doing anything to the roof. The new neighbor came in and saw what I had done to my roof, so he did it to his roof. That roof right there, I sold that house about 4 or 5 years ago. I don't think it leaks, but it hasn't had anybody, nobody's done anything to it. Now this roof right here, I've probably got 1 or 2 coats, because I figure it pays off. You got solar panels right here, a solar display. The more white you can put on this roof, the more sunlight that's going to get reflected into those panels. And you're also protecting the roof. So this roof probably has 2 or 3 coats, and I'm sure you're probably going to want to put another one. Another thing about this roof that this roof has, a lot of patio roofs don't, is a gutter system. Okay, I got a gutter system. There's where it goes in, and it's always a good idea to keep these clean. Before any rainstorm get up, make sure these gutters are all clean, no birds nest in them. But that keeps the water off the patio. You saw the video, if you saw the video of the storm last week where my neighbor's patio over there doesn't have gutters. I sold that house before I was thinking of gutters, but as soon as I found out what had happened. Now that wet spot, that dark spot right there at the corner of that column, that used to be a lake. But I spent August, September, October working all this yard from the street, the sidewalk, all the way down to that white post. Everything has been reworked. all the rock has come up. We sculpted the lands to drains. The water couldn't get out of that corner up to that point for years and years. Whenever it rained, instead of the water coming and going into a drain and then into a pipe and onto the golf course like it's supposed to, the water comes off and it sits in front. I persuaded the neighbor to let me, he even paid for some of the supplies, to let me dig a drainage line and install a drainage line from that column right there over to where I had done work years previously. I've got a drain right there. It's like a cob job drain, but now the water can get out. There used to be a lake from that air conditioning unit out to about 4 feet and about 5 feet wide from the patio, just one big lake. There was another big lake where that bush is. That bush used to sit right in the middle of a big lake. They had graded it so the water couldn't get off the lot. All right, what that means when the water can't get off the lot, and when we have a storm that's like 4 days long and none of the water can ever get off the lot, that means you're going to have termite pipes hanging from the ceiling within 2 weeks. All right. And it destabilizes the foundation of the house. It rots the cement. But getting here, I want to show you this display here. This is a 3.2 kilowatt. I was showing you on the water heater the other day. I showed you the water heater. These are the panels. What I did is I took 2 panels, bolted them together. And these 2 panels, that's about 80-90 watts of solar right there. And then I got like battery cable wires going from there, and I showed you where it went into the top of the water heater. But those that are the for the water heater, and I'll show you they're sealed up pretty good. I did a good job. I'll put the camera down there. If you can see, you see that blue cable? It's all sealed. It'll never leak. It's not going to leak. This is a pretty good system, and it's been working now. I've probably had that working for about 6 years. I did it right after I put in this display. Now, to tell you the history of this solar, that house, this house, and that house were all installed at the same time. Each house was $15,000 plus to install it to where I owned it. I didn't lease it, I had it owned. And all 3 systems are exactly alike. They don't look alike because that display over there, they took 4 panels on the bottom row and they moved them down. That's a lot more roof to deal with as far as these roofs. So they were able to, and because of the stacks over there, they had to move the 4 that would be on the end up there down. But as you can see, I have maintained these roofs. These roofs, you could put another white coat on here with no problem. All you got to do is make sure that the roof has been pressure washed clean so that the stuff sticks. Because if you don't clean it and you put it down, you're going to have peeling and cracking and everything because it didn't bond. But I want to show you this panel. You can see it. Alright, there it is. You see that panel? What that is an 8x10 piece of glass out of a $2 frame from Goodwill. Underneath that glass was a hole that's about 5 inches in diameter. If you look real close, see how this panel is nice and shiny? Has a nice shiny thing to it, no cracks. Look at this one. You see that? It's like a broken windshield. Well, the solar's working. Well, my challenge was to keep the water out. Even though it took a hell of a shot, it broke the seal that's on the panel. I I took some RTV, climbed up there with some RTV. I filled that hole that the golf ball had made with RTV, and as much as I could, and then I pushed the thing down over it and sealed the edges so that it's not leaking and it works. But if it gets hit with another golf ball, that's a $700 replacement. Okay, I haven't replaced it. You might want to, because if you have an inspection, somebody will come up here and go, what's wrong with that panel? And that's about a $700 replacement for that panel right there. Okay, and I'm letting you know. And I also want to let you know, you see all this, I'll get over here where the light's different. You see all that netting? All that netting? You see all that hardware where the netting is? If you look real close, right there, there's a stainless steel piece of safety wire. It goes around the bottom of all these stanchions. I had to bolt these stanchions out of angle iron to the corners, and then through the bottom holes, I strung this safety wire that goes completely around. It makes a complete circumference around this whole display. And I anchored it and tightened it and tensioned it with somewhere in this circumference is a turnbuckle where it's all tight. But as you can see, I put this plastic netting there, and then I've got it tie wrapped down here, and it's all rotted. Somebody should go through there. But we had to get the pigeons out. For about the first 2 years that they were, the solar system was installed, what I built was a carport for pigeons. They were everywhere, and if you can see, there's one that snuck in there and they're dead. So you're probably going to get that out. Or you can come somebody have reworked this, but you have to do that. Here it's broken away. You can see right here is the wire, but those tie wraps rot. They sun rot. This has been here probably 6 or 7 years that I did this, but we don't have pigeon problems. Okay, underneath the panels. I did that to all 3 houses. Imagine the job that was. All 3 had that job done, and I did it. So, what do I got left to talk about here? What you're looking at off in the distance is West Valley's Abrazo unit at Watson Road and I-10 in Buckeye. They got a helicopter pad. It's a triage unit, kind of an emergency. It's like 200 yards, 250 yards from the front door of the house. I've used it several times. It's nice to know if anything happens, you cut your finger or anything, you're feeling bad, you don't think you can drive, whatever, you maybe broke a wrist or broke a finger, it's nice to know that just 200 yards away is help, okay? They've got a helicopter pad. If there's a meltdown out west of here on the road, like similar to Utah the other day, they got a place to bring them, triage them, and then helicopter them to wherever they have to go. But here we are. This is a signature hole. This is what you're looking at. Another thing I did, those rocks right there, that's the property line. I brought those rocks from work. I had that rock, that represents, each one of those lots is about 45 feet. So you got 45 feet that lot, 45 feet the lot you just purchased, and 45 feet for the other lot. So you've got about 135, 140 feet, and I had that at one time. And I looked on the satellite, I dug down and I found the pegs in the ground from the original survey, and I made sure that those rocks were on the property line. And they are. If you look at the satellite picture for the county plat map or the county map, tax map, those rocks were right on the line. And then I replaced them with the plants. I got rid of the rock because everything had to be graded. You have to understand where that pile is and those Italian cypress are over there. There was a berm that was higher than both patios that went all the way from there over to that bush. That's why we had to do the job right here at this column. That's why we had to do that column job, because the water couldn't get out here. All the water that came off that roof hugged that patio and just sit there. If it was a 2-hour storm every day for 5 days, the water couldn't get out. And like I said, we fixed it. You see a little wet spot there, that's where it concentrates, but we'd be looking at a lake right now instead of a wet spot. Right after the storm, of course, everything eventually absorbs, but the house and the lot are not supposed to hold water. This golf course was designed on paper to take the water from the lots. Any surface water that accumulated on the lots was supposed to flow onto the golf course. They didn't do it that way. But I want to let you know, everything is working with the solar panels. The bill hasn't changed that much. I'm making electricity and storing it. But I got to tell you, this was done by a golf ball that could have been hit from every one of those tees over there. And there's not a lot of activity today, but day in and day out, golf balls fly in this yard. Day in and day out, because every tee on the 6th hole is in range of my house. My house and my yard are closer to the tee box than the green over there. Today, from right there, they probably got 132, 137 yards shot from that green bucket, that seed bucket right there. Back, they got a back pin, so we'll give them we'll add another 8-10 yards. We got 140 yards shot from back there. You wouldn't think that would be hard, but when you get a brand new person, and I want you to look at the people who are hitting right now. Every one of them is in range of my house. If any one of them has a mental fart or has trouble keeping it in play, I'm it. Okay? And he put that one in the lake. There it is. You see the whirlpool? He'll hit another one. That's another thing about this hole is, even though they paid one greens fee, I have to put up with the risk of one of these guys putting one in my yard, because he's never hit this shot before. Or maybe 1 out of 20 times on the range he's able to perform the shot he's trying to hit right now. Most of the time he's hitting slices and duck hooks and whatever, you know, but he isn't performing the shot. But when he gets out here, he's given permission, and he doesn't realize that he can take out my window. All he sees is the green. All he sees is a green and a perfect shot. He sees in his head a perfect shot, but he doesn't make a perfect shot because he doesn't practice. It's the second time he's ever held a golf club in his life, okay? And you're expecting a guy from there to hit a shot and keep it in play, okay? I can't wait to get out of here.